Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dal. The Brewfest is back in the War Within for the year 2025, and this time around, the event has gotten a number of updates, from a brand new mount that you can finally add to your collection, to a bunch of new transmog sets that are now available on the Brewfest vendor. And there's even a brand new event that's available right now for the Brewfest that's a little bit more involved, including players having to gather materials, preparing the food, and serving the customers. Very similar to, and reminds me of, the Dragonflight event with the Iskara Tuskar, where you basically had to do this big cooking event. It's basically a cooking event, but this time it's back as a Brewfest instead, offering players an opportunity to collect a variety of new themed items from this event specifically, some of which you'll be able to purchase directly on the vendor, others you'll be able to obtain by participating in the event as well. So if you're someone who's looking to maximize this event and collect all of the new collectibles as quickly, as fast as possible, today's video I'm going to go over exactly what is new for the Brewfest event, but also how to farm up all of the rewards as quickly and efficiently as possible, as they've made some huge changes regarding the Brewfest currency that makes getting all the rewards much easier than ever before. As always, if you guys want to see more featured content from either War Within or potentially Midnight Alpha, be sure to follow the channel and subscribe. But otherwise, let's dive right in. So one of the first new rewards that you'll be able to obtain from the Brewfest event, and definitely you want to dive into this as soon as you can, and that is the Korin Direbrew dungeon instance. It's not really a dungeon, it's really just a single boss fight, and the guy melts incredibly quickly. I don't even know if you really need a healer or a tank for that matter. As long as you just maybe press some cooldowns and do as much damage as you can, you might be able to wipe him out before the boss at any point gets even scarier. But that place has been updated a little bit, not in the mechanics, not in the actual fights, but the rewards themselves specifically. As that boss in particular, you will be able to have a chance once a day on your warband, not specifically per character, to potentially obtain a number of cool rewards. There's trinkets, there's weapons, some of which you could actually list on the auction house because there are BOE. So potentially if you're trying to sell a couple of mogs, make a bit of gold right now, this could be pretty good. Or if you just try to gear brand new characters, it's like starter gear, nothing amazing, adventure track gear, so it's kind of whatever. However, the boss also has 3 cool, or really 4 cool rewards. A lot of them are going to be Brewfest themed. So 2 of them, the original 2 rewards if you never obtained them, the Great Brewfest Totem, as well as the Swift Brewfest Ram, both of which can drop from this instance specifically, so it's yet another reason for you to want to farm it. Another one is a Proto-Dragon, dragon-riding Dragonflight mount Brewfest armor, which looks pretty cool as well. So if you've gotten yourself a Proto-Dragon from Dragonflight, that's another customization that you'll be able to get for those mounts. But also the new one and the good one, Brewfest Barrel Bomber is the new mount that's now on the boss's loot table. So this one you also will be able to obtain by defeating Korin Direbrew, and it either drops on him or the purple barrel treasure reward that you get for defeating him. One of those two. But your warband will have a fairly high, from what Blizzard wrote in the blue post, chance to obtain this mount, but only on your first character that you slay the boss on. And I think this mount reward potentially might also be under bad luck protection. Hopefully it is, because the event is a limited time event. It only lasts for a little bit, and only comes around once a year. So this mount is going to be yet another item that you could potentially obtain for defeating the boss, and definitely worth start doing once a day on a character, as this is a really cool looking mount, and I haven't seen a lot of people riding it, so the drop rate for this may not be nearly as high as we thought. And if that's the case, definitely hopefully there's some bad luck protection here. Besides this, Brewfest itself is about what you would remember from before. There's the eating competition, there's the ram races, there's a couple of extra enemies like brew thieves that are hanging around here. That's for some of the quests, and a lot of the quests that you've seen every single year are still here. A lot of the same festivities are still in play. However, there's now 2 new items. One, new rewards for you to collect on the quartermasters, or the vendors for the Brewfest event. There's still going to be the same vendor for like the toys and the previous items that were here before. Brewfest Balloon, however, is a brand new addition. But also you have a variety of other cosmetic rewards, such as kilts that have been added to this event. Oh, and also a Brewfest barrel hat as well. But if you are a big fan of kilts, they got a couple of variations from the vendors themselves. There's like the gray variation, as well as the green version. However, there'll be more kills that you can obtain from the actual event. On the same vendor, there's also a Dark Iron ceremonial set and there's every slot of gear available here. It looks really good. It's basically the recent addition we had on the trading post of the dwarven gear. There's the azurite one and the magni or the bronzebeard version. So they have the dark iron version that's also going to cost you Brewfest price tokens, which is the currency for this event specifically. Besides this, the vendors also still have a variety of different items that have been there previously, such as the shield, the buckler, as well as tabards and other outfits. So if you haven't collected them, if you haven't added these things to your collection just yet, this could be an opportunity to potentially add even more items from the Brewfest event to your cosmetics. Outside of this, there's also actually an hourly event that you can participate in, where you'll be able to talk to, at least on a Horde side, is Korgrim Kegfist, but there's going to be an NPC specifically on a line side as well. This NPC actually gives you a quest line that shows you some of the different activities you'll be doing during this event. Either you'll be gathering materials from some of the keg thieves and brew thieves that you can find on the outskirts of the actual encampment for Brewfest, or you'll potentially be making some of the food and drinks, which you'll actively be doing through in-game mini-games, or you'll be serving the customers a variety of different items that they're looking to get, whether it is drink or something to eat. So it's like an activity that happens every hour. It lasts about 8 minutes, with the finale where you defeat a final boss at the end, and players then are rewarded with these bags of merchandise, which potentially could award you with other items from dark iron weapons and unique transmogs, or possibly even more kilts of different color variants that are not available on the vendors as well. Supposedly during this event there's supposed to be invasions every 30 minutes. However, I haven't really seen a single invasion so far. I haven't seen one spawn, so maybe that's something that is bugged and just not working. That, or potentially scrapped it, or invasions are happening somewhere else entirely. And both the actual new event and supposedly the invasions, if they exist, should also be a decent source of the Brewfest tokens, which are necessary for some of the cosmetics that you'll need to buy up during this event. Another major change for this event is the fact that these tokens are finally warbound. I'm pretty sure last time we had Brewfest around, these weren't warbound currency. It seems like some currencies for all the older holidays are warbound and can be traded between characters, while others aren't, and that's why actually they made warbound last second as this event went live, where initially they weren't, transferable. Now they are, so it makes it that much easier for you to be able to buy all of the different cosmetics, and you're gonna need a lot of these Brewfest tokens in order to be able to buy all of the unique rewards that are available during this event. And if you are trying to farm out these tokens, I've noticed that there's actually not that many great ways to endlessly farm them. There will be some daily and repeatable activities you can take advantage of, but I actually think if you're trying to buy up all of the items, if you have a small army of alts that you can run through the content with, that is probably the best way, the fastest way for you to buy everything all at once, all in one go. Some of the non-repeatable activities that you can take advantage of is the Brewfest camp quests, which are initially some of the different quests that award you the Brewfest tokens, and those can be done on every one of your alts. Every single one of them for all of your characters will give you a solid bit of these tokens, and if you complete all of them, it's actually a huge gain in terms of trying to get through as many of these collectibles as possible. They're really easy to do. It's just mostly a lot of running around and flying around all over the place. One of these activities is going to be the fan favorite Chow Down event, which is really just an RNG minigame of chowing down on as much food as you can to get through as many plates as possible. And there is a unique reward there, a trophy for collecting Chow Down champion tokens, which means you gotta win this 5 times on a character to be able to add an extra toy to your collections. If you are somebody who's going to be going after this event specifically, the best strategy that a lot of players have pointed out to with this event is, one, it's very RNG. There isn't much you could do in terms of skill in order to be able to beat other players, but there is a simple strategy of how to get through as many plates as possible and likely be the winner. The first way is to just start spam eating as much as possible until your character chokes, then drink, then spam eat until you choke, and as soon as you're able to switch to a new plate, definitely hit that key as soon as possible. And that's really about it. The faster you spam the eat button, sometimes you can actually take a double bite so you can get through your food a little quicker while also not choking nearly as often. So you're able to get through plates much faster, but it's very RNG. It's literally a random chance that whether you win or lose if everybody uses the same strategy. And there's a chance you might be able to hit all your plates faster than everybody else, but there's definitely not a guarantee or anything. Another activity you can do that is not repeatable is the bar tab barrels, where essentially you gotta travel through a variety of different inns found either in the Dragon Isles or Kazalgar to earn 10 Brewfest prize tokens per inn. This activity overall is incredibly easy to do. You just fly around to all the different places and collect tokens incredibly easily. If you try to keep up with it, there's actually 2 achievements that can tell you exactly where you have to go. First one being around on the house in Kazalgar, and it tells you the zone as well as the location you gotta go to turn in the quest. And the other is around on the house on the Dragon Isles, which also tells you the zone as well as the location you gotta go to in order to be able to get a bar tab barrels within a variety of different inns. It's really easy, gets you a bunch of these tokens, I think over 200 of them, which if you do it on a couple of old characters, you'll be able to get majority of the new set cosmetics super easily and unlock literally every item, I think, in a single sitting. And of course, we have the Koran Diabrew dungeon, which is something that is repeatable once a day. Technically, you can still do it on all of your characters because there is a quest to obtain once you defeat the boss. Enter the dungeon, slay the boss, get the quest item that awards you 40 tokens per character, plus whatever bonuses you get from the box for defeating the boss. So those are definitely worth doing at least at some point if you're trying to get yourself as many rewards as possible. Now, as for the actual repeatable activities, there's only a few. Once you've done everything on all of your characters, you can do dailies, and some of the dailies are going to be shifted a little, but a lot of it is just collecting bubbles and rolling kegs and maybe potentially even use emotes within a capital city, but all of them usually are pretty easy. And there's supposed to be, I think, 2, if not more, dailies, but definitely something for you to check out every single day. If you are maxed out on all the quests, don't have multiple alts, that is the only other source of you being able to get a bunch of these Brewfest tokens. Now, another way to get repeatable activities and tokens is the daily ram race. After you do your introductory quest line to unlock the ram racing, you can basically race those rams back and forth, delivering as many barrels of brew as possible, and you'll be able to get 2 Brewfest coins per loop. So every time you run over to grab a barrel and run back to drop it off, you'll get 2 coins for every single one of them. And the idea is you want to run it as quickly as possible, while also trying to make sure that your ram isn't too fatigued, picking up apples along the way so you can keep the same pace at all times in order to be able to get as many of them as possible. But outside of this, there's not too many repeatable activities. If you are somebody who's trying to get through this event as early as possible and get all the collectibles in just a handful of days, I think the best way to go about it is to throw as many ults at this as you can. For the time being, all of these quests award you full rewards. Maybe that'll be a hotfix in the future. You know, Blizz sometimes makes some weird changes, and that'll be one of those fun detected type of changes. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. But for the time being, as long as the quest awards you full amounts of the tokens, right now is the best way to just farm through them and spam through them on as many alt characters as possible. If you are just trying to get through this as quickly as you can, doing dailies is fine, but I just don't feel like dailies are that rewarding, especially since if you just complete all of the quests, which are really easy, take very, very little time, and when you do the event itself, once an hour that it's available, that's, I think, is going to be one of the better ways for you to go about getting as many currencies as possible in order to buy up all of the new items from the vendor, plus also your daily logins for the dungeon to potentially get the new mount added to your collections. But with that being said, as always, I do want to thank all of you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did enjoy it or found it informative, go ahead and give it a like, as I would very much appreciate it. Also, be sure to join this community, especially with some of the upcoming content for The War Within and potentially Midnight Alpha right around the corner. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below, and as always, I'll see all of you guys in the next one.